Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com, out with the old, in with the new at US Bank. Two changes in the credit card lineup there. The US Bank Smartly Visa now officially launching, being ready for applications, and the US Bank Altitude Reserve card going away. Let's talk first about the US Bank Smartly Visa, now officially launched. You can apply for it online, no annual fee, 2% cash back on all of your purchases with the card, but you could potentially go up to 4% cash back on all of your purchases if you also have a US Bank Smartly savings account and you have at least $100,000 with US Bank between deposit accounts and investment accounts. So if you have $100,000 and you want to invest the majority of it with US Bank and then also keep that Smartly savings account open, you could get yourself 4% cash back on all of your purchases. Now, even if you don't have $100,000 that you can put with US Bank, either in an investment account or in a deposit account, you still can get more than 2% on all of your purchases with the Smartly card if you have smaller amounts with US Bank. So at $5,000 as a minimum and also having the Smartly savings account, you could jump up to 2.5% cash back on all of your purchases, which is pretty nice. And then if you had between $50,000 and $100,000, that would actually jump up to 3% cash back on all of your purchases. Now, obviously, even having $50,000 is a significant amount to put with US Bank in order to get yourself a little bit of a hike. So probably for most people, you're either going to try and get yourself up to that 2.5% level, or you're going to go the whole $100,000 if you can do it to get yourself up to that 4% level. Now, in a previous video about the US Bank Smartly card, as we were starting to get some of the details, but the card had not actually launched, I mentioned the fact that not only do you have to have the $100,000 with US Bank in order to get that 4% cashback rate, but you also have to have the US Bank Smartly savings account, which has a $5 per month maintenance fee, unless you also have a US Bank checking account. And in order to get the highest rate on the savings account, you need to have a certain amount of money in your savings account and checking account combined in order to get sort of the best savings rate that would make it competitive with other savings accounts on the market that would not require you to sort of jump through all those hoops. So what US Bank is doing here is really sort of weaving this web where you have to do each part of it in order to maximize all of it. And if you don't do each part of it, you're not necessarily getting all that great a deal, or at least not any better deal than you could maybe find on the market somewhere else. Now, that's fine for US Bank. They obviously want you to be a committed customer, but that doesn't necessarily mean this card is going to be right for everyone. If you're someone that has $100,000 either with US Bank already, or that you would be willing to invest with US Bank, and you want to have some money in their checking and savings, or already do, well, maybe this card could work for you, especially if you're someone that spends a lot on your credit cards each month, because the difference between 2% and 4% cash back is only going to be really significant if you are spending a good amount. So I would say you should be spending at least probably $1,000 per month on the card if you are thinking about getting this one, if you really think that difference between 2 and 4% is going to be significant. And another thing to mention here sort of with the card is that it has no bonus opportunity for new card holders. So even though you're starting at 2% and maybe you're going to get more in terms of cash back, you're not going to get that nice $200 or whatever on the front end that most other no annual fee reward credit cards are going to offer you. So otherwise with this card, it is a metal card. If that's interesting to you, there's a 0% offer on purchases and balance transfers on this card, and it has some other good features too. So if it works for you, if having that big US Bank relationship is something that makes sense for you, or you already have it, this could be a good card. And then the second bit of news is the discontinuation of the US Bank Altitude Reserve card. At least 2 new applicants. Not sure at this point if existing card holders are going to be moved into something else, or if they're going to be allowed to hold this card for a little while longer. But anyway, US Bank Altitude Reserve sort of competing in that higher end luxury space with things like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, Amex Platinum, Capital One, Venture X had a $400 annual fee, but a $325 $100 yearly travel credit, 3 points per dollar on travel, 3 points per dollar on mobile wallet purchases, which really was something that made a lot of fans for this card. So it's a little surprising maybe that they are getting rid of it. I think maybe US Bank has decided they don't want to compete in that space as much because you are getting into a place in terms of travel where not only American Express is building out their own lounges, but now you've got Chase doing the same, you've got Capital One doing the same, and maybe US Bank was feeling like they really either didn't want to or couldn't compete on that same level with those cards for people that really cared about the travel rewards. And if you look at what they're doing right now, the changes they recently made to the Altitude Connect to change it to a no annual fee card, but giving 4 points per dollar on travel purchases and a lot of other good things happening there as well with no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. That card is sort of a replacement a little bit for people that might still want some sort of travel rewards, but not sort of on that high end. So US Bank a little bit sort of going in the way of Wells Fargo, what they have done. A lot of no annual fee cashback cards, but hitting a lot of different categories if you were to hold multiple cards from that bank. So we'll see if that's the direction they continue to go. But as of now, that means there are 5 no annual fee cards from US Bank. 4 of them have no annual fee. So if you held multiple, you could be hitting a lot of different nice cashback categories with them without having to pay a lot in annual fees. And that's sort of an easier way to go from the bank's perspective too, in terms of giving straight cash back versus having all these travel rewards and dealing with airport lounges and all of the other things that go into some of these higher end cards. So my guess is US Bank not wanting to continue to compete in that space where they were a little outgunned by some of the bigger banks out there. So that is the news for today. Would love to hear your take on one or both of those cards. Put those thoughts in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you are not going to leave a comment or go to the website, the next video you're going to want to watch right there.